Hi guys, it's Ben here from T-Rex Space Station. How's everyone doing? Time to check out a classic dungeon crawler. This is Eye of the Beholder. This is a 1990 dungeon crawler game, I believe. This is one of those old school D&D type games. And every good D&D type game starts off with a character creation screen and a lot of dice rolling. Though in this game you can seem to get one over on the dice and sort of take the piss a little bit. I always go for two beefy people up front. So let's go for a dwarf, and I want a fighter. I don't waste time with things like thieves. I'll go for chaotic evil, and let's go for a suitably evil looking dwarf. Kind of want. Oh, this guy looks pretty good. Here we go. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. You can kind of roll for stats, but then you can bump the dice if you want to. It's like, well, of course I'm going to bump the dice if I get the option. Right, so he's got high strength, high constitution. Then you go to modify. Just whack it up there. Whack his strength to like the highest they can possibly go. Because why wouldn't you? I don't quite know what that over bit means, but anyway, we've put it up to max. So, obviously for a fighter I want strength and constitution. No one cares about anything else. Alright, we'll keep him. I used to have a lot of problems thinking up names for characters, but since I finished my first novel, I've got a massive, wide array of character names to use. Okay, we're fine. Let's get on with it. And into the dungeon we go. I really like these old school dungeon crawlers. I mean, there are some really great modern takes on these games, new games coming out, but I sort of like to go back and see this original classic pixelated art, and it's such beautiful, fine, pixelated work, isn't it? And just something very nostalgic about the way that these looked. I don't think you can really beat that. I've got an evil face looking through the grate there. Something scurries deeper into the floor drain. Right, as long as it's disappeared. Is there anything else? Now these games, one of the big things that you'll notice after playing it for a little while is that you get absolutely no ability to map the dungeon. This is really in the old school way of doing stuff, where you had to do it by hand. And people have like an sort of a 4x4 grid on which to mark the direction. I think it's randomly generated. I'm pretty sure because I've done this. I had a run through the first level earlier, and I don't remember it looking like this. So it could be quite easy for me to get lost, seeing that I'm talking and playing, and I'm not keeping any record of where I've gone. Now, there are some modified versions of the game that you can get. Someone's remade the Amiga version with better graphics, and they've also included an auto mapper, which I think is a very nice thing to do. Because without that, you know, the game could be pretty horrible. I'm presuming in the later levels there's a lot of convoluted passageways involved. Let's get some food down here. Give everything to the big guy, because yeah, he's probably more likely to be able to hold it all because of his crazy high strength stats that I bumped up. Let's have a look. Standard first level enemies. I presume that they're kobolds. They look like kobolds. I think if you ever played Ancient Domains of Mystery, the harshest lesson to learn was that you really don't eat kobolds. They make you sick. So wait for them to come. I love the way that this game looks. I think it looks absolutely brilliant. Come on. Yeah, the people at the back can't reach. I really should equip them with some spells or ranged attacks, really. But never mind, the kobolds ain't doing too much damage anyway. I'm not sure if you have a stats screen as such, where I think that the stats just increase on their own. I mean, obviously you level up. I'm not sure that apart from that beginning screen, you put now here's a standard. Every single dungeon crawler has to have a standard putting a rock on a bit of floor. I don't know why that is. It's like this game probably maybe started that off. That trend. Actually gained a level of experience for doing absolutely nothing, just for walking. Well, that's good. You can have a rock for your reward. Legend of Grimrock is a really great modern dungeon crawler that is heavily influenced by this, and that kind of carries on that having to put rocks on things. It's just a standard dungeon crawler puzzle. I guess you're kind of limited in terms of the things you can arrange. Here we go, got some worms now. Yeah, I've got worms. Here we are. Oh, the worms aren't too strong actually. Ingis dealt with those guys really easily. Oh dear. So yeah, these are all named after characters who appear in my first novel, which is not yet finished. But the first draft is finished. It's gone out for proofreading. There are a few YouTubers who are reading through it. And once it's done, hopefully I can share it with you all. Here we are, we've got a shield. Let's give that to the beefy dude. Where's his shield arm? There we go. Well, that should help things be a little bit easier. And we've got more buttons in the walls. Let's see what's going on down here. Now, in order to teach your mages spells, you've got to rest. So I should probably clear out this dungeon and then take a rest. I've not really needed to rest too much yet because we haven't taken too many hits. I suppose once you start encountering bosses and things like that, that's when you need to be much more careful. And that was just an empty room of slugs. Kind of like my old house. Let's see. Oh, I don't want to go back that way. Now this is where I'm going to start getting myself confused. Because like the completely amateur Dungeons and Dragons player I am, I haven't brought a grid map with me. I think it's pretty... Well, I mean, compared to modern standards, it seems really naive. God, all the passageways look the same. It seems a little bit naive to make a game without a way of recording where you're going. But I suppose that it was to try and keep the purity of the whole thing back then. Come on, here we go. We're sinking kobolds for breakfast. Well, I don't know if it's breakfast or lunch. I'm not sure what time it is. I'm not sure if there's any negative effects of having, say, a chaotic character in this game. Whoops. I mean, in some games, that would affect your interaction with humans and stuff, or in shops. So maybe it's something like that, but I've not played this game long enough to know if we have things like that in here. Are there shops? Are there characters? Is there much plot? I'm kind of suspecting, because this is an old school game, that there isn't, but that I may be surprised. I think I'm going around in circles, and this is where dungeon crawlers without maps fall down. No, this is the way, isn't it? Possibly. But I don't think that I've done that before. It's a dead end! There's going to be lots of those in this. Right. So that was a bit on the wall with a button on it. I think I actually saw the exit before. The exit is a door with an arrow in front of it and something or other else. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, here we go. There's an evil guy down here. Get out of there. Something scuppers away from the drain. Right, maybe we're onto it now. I actually could hilariously... Oh god, there's a flipping worm again. Die. Are they regenerating? I don't think so. Probably not. Ah, dungeon crawlers. Is there anything more enjoyable than walking randomly around in massive big circles? Well, it's one way to spend... Oh, that was where I did... Okay, this is definitely the way to go. So I've actually walked all the way back around to the bit where I put the rock on the what's-it, so to speak. It would be nice to show you the end of the level, I guess. Yeah, you need to be careful where you get this game from. It's available on goodoldgames.com. If you get it from goodoldgames.com, it's all pretty much patched and sorted out to work properly. But if you're downloading it from some dodge site, unofficial site or something, you will end up running into problems because you need to have... There are level verification parts, you know, like old school ways of anti-piracy where you have to look in a book and say a word from each page, but they're very glitchy. Hey look, you know what I've just done? I've walked all the way back to the start of the level. And I think that'll leave it there because I'm just going to end up running around in circles so I've not been paying attention enough. This is Eye of the Beholder. It's a classic game and it's really fun. You can get it for very cheap as part of a pack on goodoldgames.com. Alright guys, take care and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.